Let me walk you through the current national tax distribution system. All the taxes generated by states are sent to the federal government through the Federal Inland Revenue Service monthly. The federal government then redistributes the funds based on the VAT distribution rules as shown in the image. The federal government uses a formula to calculate each state's share of the 50%. For example, if 100 million is generated, federal government takes 15%, which is 15 million, while the state shares 50%, which is 50 million. Local government takes 35%, which is 35 million. This is how the current tax redistribution works. Note, the 50% allocated to states is further divided into 3 parts, but not shared equally. A specific formula determines what each state gets from the 50 million. The same applies to local governments, but for this explanation, I will be focusing on states. For the formulas, we have equality, population, and derivation. 1. Equality. From the total generated taxes, 50%, which is 50 million, is allocated to states plus FCT. Under equality sharing, 50% of 50 million, which is 25 million, is distributed equally among all the states, and states benefiting from equality sharing are all the states. 2. Population. After the first half, which is equality sharing, the second half is splitted between population and derivation. For population, 30% of the 50 million, which is 15 million, is shared based on each state's population size. States with larger populations receive more money than those with smaller ones. Beneficiaries of this formula are mostly northern states and Lagos. At this point, 80% of the funds allocated to states has been shared, primarily benefiting North and Lagos. For the third one, we have derivation. Only 20% remains to be shared from the 50 million allocated to states under the derivation formula. States that contributed more taxes gets more, while the states that contributed less gets less regardless of their population size. States that benefit the most from derivation are those with major company headquarters, industries, and economic hubs like Lagos and Rivers. The states which gained heavily from the previous 2 formulas, which is population and equality, will likely care less about derivation. Let's talk about the new tax reform bills, the one that is causing all the troubles regarding the new tax reform. The federal government reduced its allocation by 5% and added it to the states, increasing states' share by 35%, while local government allocation remained the same. Derivation, previously the lowest at 20%, has been increased to 60%, making it the highest, surpassing both equality and population sharing. From the previous image, you can see which states and region will benefit the most from the new tax reform. Let's talk about how it will benefit President Tinubu.